like kuna mtu grow up with a lot of fear. Maybe it was something really bad that happened to you, maybe a sexual abuse, something so traumatic that now at like taking risks, it's really hard on tough on you. Like you get so scared, una freak out, like wa kitu kidogo inakupea anxiety, you know, just because of something that happened to you when you're growing up. Lovelies, welcome back to my kingdom. It's a girl, the one and only Foxy Queen Arkidali, and you're back again with a new video. And I want to thank you guys so much for the support that you've been giving me, especially on my last video. I got so much positive feedback, and I want to thank you guys so much for the support that you've been giving me. And kama you haven't watched my last video on Church Heart, kindly go back to my videos and get to watch that. It's such a lesson filled kind of video, and you're gonna learn a lot from it. And so today I'm gonna be talking about embracing your inner child. And I know for some of you, you're like, what's an inner child? Who's this we're talking about? And I'm here to educate you. And the meaning of an inner child is the part of your subconscious that has been picking up messages from way before you could fully process them mentally and emotionally. You know, when you were growing up, you had that learning stage whereby new things were happening to you, and some of them zilibaki tu na wewe this whole time. So that's your inner child, and the inner child is your childlike aspect. Yani, there's a part of you that's kautoto tu kako fulani. That's your inner child, and the inner child carries the good experiences that we had during our childhood, and also it carries the fears that we had, the trauma, all those bad things that also happened in our childhood. And the inner child influences a lot of the decisions we make as adults. You know, those decisions that you make as an adult, most of them are influenced by your inner child. You know, na push either to do better ama to fail, you know. And one of the things that you should do is get a hold of your inner child as early as now, before it gets too late. Because sometimes our inner children from the past experiences, at times they get out of control, you know. Yani anaku-influence to be this dark soul, you know. But once you get to tame him or her, when you're able to now make clear decisions as an adult, not as a kid anymore. And how to know if your inner child has some pain. So today I'm mostly going to be talking about those people who've had traumas. Mostly, unajua kwa tu they had plain smooth childhood, but kuna how when we've been raggedy, you know, we've had so many bad experiences that zili to affect in one way or another. And one way to know if your inner child has some pains is those feelings of shame, of guilt and pain that you carry. That shows that your inner child was damaged in a way. And personally, I used to feel ashamed growing up because I constantly thought I was a bad kid. I was rebellious. Like, I knew people viewed me as such a, you know, a rebellious kid. So I felt so ashamed that now I used to walk with my head down, and I find it really hard to like look people in the eye. Like, I don't keep eye contact because there's this constant shame I have that I can't look at people because I don't want to read whatever is on your face, you get. So for some of you, maybe it's some shame, maybe it's some guilt or some pain that you carry inside your heart. Maybe something really bad happened to you when you were growing up that it could damage in a way. That's how you know, okay, my inner child is suffering from this, okay? And another thing is you constantly overwork yourself, the constant need to achieve. Yani kila time una feel like, wow, I need to do better. So Mimi, why I normally feel like that need to constantly achieve it, because growing up, whenever I'd fail, I'd get like real beatings, you get, at school or at home. Like kulikuwa na hizo really tough punishments when I'd fail. So each time I'm about to fail, I freak out, like really freak out. Like I don't want to fail because I'm like, damn, I might get punished for this. Like hata internally, in my mind already najipunish, niko like, wow, why did you do this? Why did you fail at this? You're so smart. Why are you acting up like a stupid person? So your constant judgment. And another thing is inability to live in the present moment. That's your inner child. Some people are unable to really live in the present moment. Like me, I used to really isolate myself so much when I was growing up. Like when I look back, if I'm told to reflect on my childhood, what I see is me on my bed most of the times. I used to isolate myself so much because I used to be so bitter and so angry, especially from the relationship I had with my mom. So I used to isolate myself so much. So napata, even now that I'm an adult, well, sometimes when I go out and spend time with people, I still isolate myself. I'm unable to show up in the moment. I'm unable to live in the moment. Niko too happy, yes, physically, but emotionally and spiritually, I'm not there. I'm in my head overthinking. So for some of you guys, that's you are experiencing that, like you're unable to live in the moment because maybe you couldn't live in the moment from your childhood, you get. And another thing is regular anxiety and fear. Like kuna mtu grow up with a lot of fear. Maybe it was something really bad that happened to you, maybe a sexual abuse, something so traumatic that now like taking risks, it's really hard it's tough on you. Like you get so scared, una freak out, like wa kitu kidogo inakupea anxiety, just because of something that happened to you when you're growing up. Another thing is trying to be perfect, being a perfectionist. Kila time you're trying to be your best, even when sometimes you don't really have to be the best, but unapata like you have this constant need to be the best. Mimi personally, I've struggled with that cause when I was growing up, I used to feel like if I wasn't the best, nobody would notice me. Now I had to like push myself to be the best. Like, hey, you gotta go, you gotta push yourself. Na saa zingine you just have to just relax and watch things flow. But now I always like, let's go, let's do this. When it can get really tiring sometimes. Another thing is difficult noticing and celebrating wins in your life. Like you're really unable to celebrate even the small wins. Like Mimi, I'm unable to like congratulate myself even when I do something really good. I'm like, okay, that was really, was that the best shot you got? Was that the best shot you got? Sometimes I really want something so bad, then once I get it, once I buy it, niko like, I want something else, because I'm not unable to celebrate the wins in my life because I constantly feel like I need to do something. Another thing is unhealthy relationships and lack of a good connection with people, like from whatever happened in your childhood. Like me, because of the broken relationship with my mom, well, looking back at the relationships I've had with people, and I find out that I'm the problem. I'm the issue because of my inner child, because I'm unable to truly connect with people, or napata I push people away. I'm like, no, you're getting too close and I don't really like this. So naanza kughost watu because sitaki kuonekana like I'm needy and all that, And another thing is self-sabotage and obsessive or addictive behaviors. People who've had traumatic or unhealed inner children, they have this self-sabotage kind of behaviors. Like you're always failing yourself. Ata before fail, umeshaji fail. Okay, in your head you're like, okay, maybe I cannot do this, I cannot achieve this, you're constantly telling yourself that. And you have these obsessive behaviors and addictive behaviors, like you're trying to find something to cling on because you don't feel good enough. So unapata uko addicted to what kind of drugs, porn and all that, because you're trying to find a place where you belong. And another thing is constant negative talks. Like you constantly tell yourself, oh, I'm not good enough, I'm not beautiful enough, I'm not bold enough, I'm not this, I'm not that. Constantly, because ilianza from your childhood. Maybe somebody actually told you something one time when you were growing up that nywele yako ni dengu and it damaged you, it ruined you, ama unaambiwa ati oh wewe utainona, you know, things like those. So zina live with you. Like at times in life we allow people's words to take root and to produce fruit in our life. Like mtu alisema kitu and now you are actualizing it in your life. Like mtu alisema you're stupid, now you constantly tell yourself I'm stupid, I'm stupid, I'm stupid, rather than being like wait a minute, who's stupid? Who's stupid? It can't be me, it can't be me. But juu hiyo childhood venye tulikwanga tunaambia kitu tunairegister, tunai-accept as the truth, tunapata now that we've grown up, it's hard to break those patterns and those behaviors. Inakuwa like a generational curse. Actually there was something I was reading and someone was saying that your inner child is like a generational curse or a karma whereby unless you break it, it's gonna continue, it's going to go with you wherever and however you go. You get it? So for me, kwanza yangu ilikuwa anger issues, na from the childhood emotional neglect I faced when I was growing up. Like I did not receive the kind of love that I wished I'd have received. So I grew up so angry. And actually during the equal time I was talking to my little sister, so and she was like now the way you look at people, mtu dhani uko na roho chafu. Then I was like wait a minute, what? Wait a minute, who are you talking about? Then she's like ukweli, actually mtu akikosa kukujua anaweza dhani like you have those bad eyes. Then I was like I just look at people, I think it's normal for me, but for other people they're like dem nae anaangaliaje watu. And even my mans was telling me that at times like I really look good, but the face I kind of give people, it's more like what the hell, who are you looking at? So it's because of the inner child whereby I grew up with so much anger. So even now the way I show up, it's with anger. Like saa zingine deep down I'm happy, but the way I show up, it's more like mnataka. So you see, now I have to deal with that. I have to break that pattern, otherwise it will go with me. Someone was actually telling me, hey, you're such a good lady, you're so good and all, but you have this anger that may affect your kids, you know. Like me ni ule mtu niko na zile hasira really bad. Like I'd tell you anything. I don't really care. When I'm angry, it's more like like in a get out of control. Sina anger inaweza control. So unless I break that, it can go and go and go and go and go. And I don't know what it is for you that you have to break, but it's up to us to wake up and make intentional decisions of who we want to show up as today, whether we want to show up as our inner children or as our adult selves. Okay. Yes. So how do you heal your inner child? Maybe kwa poko like okay, that makes sense, but how do you even heal that part of you? So one is by acknowledging your inner child. Take your time, sit down and look back and be like, okay, why am I like this? Why is this and this causing me this? When you go back, now you're acknowledging your inner child. Take a minute. Now accept that, okay, ako hapo, and exist. And the second thing is by validating what happened. Maybe it was, let's say, something like sexual abuse. Actually, instead of suppressing those emotions, letting them come out, like feel, what did you feel in those moments? Like, how do I deal with this? Like, ilini change. So unakubali like, yes, this and this happened, but how do I go about it? Another thing is by identifying the form of neglect you experienced when you were growing up. So kila mtu will experience different form of neglect. Maybe it was parental, maybe it was, I don't know. But kama mimi yangu venye nimesema ni childhood emotional neglect. Like now going back and now figure out what kind of neglect did I face? What happened to me that changed me? You have to sit down and go back, okay? And another thing is to embrace your emotions. Those emotions of fear. If it's fear, if it's pain, if you're really sad, sitting down and actually allowing yourself to feel them and to tell yourself that it's okay now, it's safe now, that nobody can hurt you anymore. That's when you go back, okay? You have to go back and identify how the current manifestations of your past hurt, how is the past hurt showing up in your life today? Like mimi venye nimesema, my childhood trauma whatever was happening, like it shows up in my anger. Like I'm triggered by very small things, na kuwa na hasira ingine enye hadi kwangu it's overwhelming. So now going back and realizing, okay, those past hurts, okay, how are they showing up today, and how can I deal with them? How can I have self-control over this anger? Okay. And another thing is by taking steps to heal, to fill the gap, that gap inside you. Taking steps to heal, to feel it. You can try meditation, you can try therapy, you can try new hobbies, you can try something to try and feel like yourself, even though you haven't felt like yourself in such a long time. So going back and like trying to find things that can fill this gap, this pain, you know. And another thing is by helping others. Maybe you know someone who's going through the same thing, how like you can show them how to navigate through certain those situations. Like, how do you deal with this? How will you still show up? You help others, and when you help others, it can help you to heal yourself. And your inner child has two aspects. Kuna the positive and the negative. Like ana showing up saa zingine in such a positive way, like anakupush to go. Kwanza mimi, I guess my inner child ni ule like akitaka kitu she goes for it, you know, which is such a good thing, in that whatever I want I get. I'll push myself until I get it. So that's the positive part. But now we see another negative part, you know. So learning how to balance and to not allow this negative side to be overwhelming is what really matters. You deal with this side. You ujue kama ni therapy you need, go for therapy. If kitu ilikufanyikia and for real it ruined you, seek therapy. Go find someone who you can talk to, who can help you to know, okay, this and this triggers me. Hata siku hizi kuna hizi meds za anxiety za nini. If it's meds you need, I guess if ziko prescribed ziko sawa, cause equal to they have this real fear. Mimi I have this fear whereby like I get scared when I'm before people. Now what my voice does is that my voice breaks. My voice like in a nyata in a break kabisa. So now learning to like be bold enough is a step I'm taking, whereby I'm learning how to talk. Kwanza niko around some people na learn to speak more than to keep quiet, to at least gain more confidence. As in, do whatever you have to do to be you, okay? And if it's something really bad that happened to you, it's not the end of the world. You don't have to be sorry to pitch yourself all this time. It happened, honey. Yes, it happened, and for whatever reason it happened, you have the choice to wake up and decide, okay, do I show up as the me that experienced this, or do I show up as the me that is healed from this? So it's for you to decide, do I get over it, or do I continue carrying it with me? So it's up to you. Even if it was so bad, just do whatever you have to do to get over it. Otherwise, it will control for the rest of your life, which is not healthy. It's not good for you to walk around with this baggage of something that happened 20 years ago. You're still living in that moment. It's not okay. We are meant to live life abundantly, to enjoy every single moment. But so unapata, due to the past traumas, you're not able to enjoy life, okay? And we can do this. We can be able to do whatever. That's the beautiful part of being a human being. You can be able to take as much as possible. Yani tuko na strength ingine that is so weird. Like, you go through this, you get up. Sasa it's up to you. The people who get stuck, mtu amekwama kwa situation ili happen, I don't know when. I also struggle with that sometimes. Like, I'm unable to heal from something. If something happens to me, I take really long to heal. And so tunaona iko watu sasa they get stuck hivyo, tunakama tu hapo, like shida may happen, you don't know how to go through it, which is so wrong. We should be able to like learn how to move forward. Kila siku ni kusonga, si kuenda na reverse, okay? And that has been my time. I hope this blesses you and it touches you. For any questions, for any comments, for any feedback, kindly comment on my on my comment section. And also follow me on Instagram at Orkadoli, and Facebook. I'm not active on Facebook though, but also Facebook at Orkadoli. Be blessed, and I love you guys so much. Thank you.